Hi, everybody. I'm immigration lawyer John Khosravi. Thank you for joining us. Today is February 27th. Excuse me. And Tuesday, 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern, as we always come on the show live to take your questions about U.S. immigration for general education purposes only. We kind of hear you out and see what best you do, give general guidance. We can't give specific case guidance because these things can be so complicated that we need lots of information. Just today, I had a case where a person emailed me in, let's say, 4 months ago. And I said, I don't know, I got to talk with you. And they hesitated, waited 4 months, and they messaged me today. And they set up a consultation finally last week. And then we talked, and it turned out if they had the consultation 4 months earlier, certain other paths that were much easier and less headache for them to deal with existed. But because they waited and did it, then like that path that would have like probably more easily and less expensively solved their situation would have changed. So it's just the weird things. We need to know a lot of details and talk about it. Sometimes not till like the end of a conversation until we find out actually what we need to do. It's a crazy process. But for those joining right now, thank you on TikTok. I got a bunch of people. Let me give you a heads up. We're joining first because in TikTok we get so many questions and repeated questions. It's hard to keep track. If you really want to ask good questions, go on our YouTube page, JQK Law or U.S. Immigration Talk. Ask the questions there. There's vastly more likelihood that I'm going to see your question and answer it there than it will be on TikTok, just because so many hundreds of questions come on TikTok. All of a sudden, it's hard to keep up. We're also on Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, so all these kind of places. I don't check the Twitter, so if you ask the questions there, I don't know. But we have a question from Mira. Let's see if I can answer this one. It says, what should you have to get approved for H-1B and the difference between HB2? So it's H-1B and H-2B. H-1B is for specialized knowledge employees, usually have like a graduate degree or certain amount of work experience, on a lot of work experience in that area or something like that. And you got to find an employer that's going to petition for you. H-2B, we're not really an H-2B law firm. It's just mostly for, I think, seasonal workers. I'm looking up right now. There's two different kinds of that. Essentially, H-2B is for non-agricultural workers. H-2A is for like hotel workers or something. There's certain law firms who have like next to farms, or certain law firms which work a lot of hotels like in Florida to bring workers. It's not something we do. We work more like individually with families and artists and talent and all that kind of stuff, and scientists. We don't do mass like bring people over for short-term work. So when you ask that question about which one should you get, what's the difference, they're like complete different depending on your background. Really, we have to see what's going on there. Sunshine, my sunshine, thanks for coming back again. And I think you sent a message today. It was good talking with you. Rut says, how long is it time for IA-24? I don't know. There's no timeline. So we got our first timeline questions for our regular listeners, and we got like a couple dozen people who come regularly. You know what that means. We're getting started. All right. John Masters says, my Thai wife and I live in Thailand. A week from today, she has a B2 interview at the Bangkok embassy. Assuming that she's turned down, do we need a local lawyer for marriage visa? Hey, John Masters. Actually, my pen name used to be John Masters. I'm not sure if that's really your name, but I used to write under the name John Masters. But, the likelihood of approval is pretty low, but, it could happen. But you don't need a local lawyer. We handle cases for people overseas. For marriage-based cases, I recommend downloading my guide first. It's 40-plus pages. It fills you in a lot of stuff. It has links to specific videos to answer in more detail. It's at marriageimmigrationlaw.com. Again, the website is marriageimmigrationlaw.com. You could handle here like the work for you and your spouse. The thing is, if you're living there, that's an issue. There's a lot going on, but we regularly handle cases like this. You don't have to have a local lawyer. All this stuff's going to be done by mail and like emails and stuff like that. So it's not a problem. We're uploading stuff to the government. Matt says, hey, if your dad gets citizenship 2015, me, I'm underage. I came to U.S. my age 2020. What form should you apply to citizenship? Man, I don't know what's going on. I can't really tell you what form to apply. It's not really clear for me your sentence structure what's going on. Just because your dad got citizenship doesn't mean you got something, depending on what age you are, how old you are when dad becomes a citizen, and if you're a green card holder. So there's a lot more things I would need to know before I can answer that. So I have to pause and give me any guidance. But for example, if your dad becomes a citizen before you're 18, for example, you might become a citizen too. I'm not sure, but I need to know more information. But also says, hi, I hope you're doing good. I've sent my medical exam to USCIS last year on 18th of September because they told me to send it, but I haven't heard back from them yet. Yeah, I actually did a video, a short video on TikTok. I'm probably on other things like this. There's no specific time frames. You just got to wait. Okay, let's go to TikTok questions. How long does it take to get a decision? I don't know. How long does it take? I don't know. My friend sounds granted. Should he wait 1 year? Apply for I-485 or not? Wait a little bit. It's probably better. You don't have to wait the whole year, maybe 6-9 months. I'd prefer. How long is this? I don't know. How it takes to get a green card approved from the visa? That question doesn't make sense. Do you do deportation cases? I don't. The question is quite clear, but unfortunately, we don't handle removal or deportation cases. Fernandez says, hi, please read me. This is really important. My husband doesn't have the wage and income taxes. It's the only documents missing. He has his own business as he hasn't had a salary in the last years. Unfortunately, it's not going to work. You got to get a joint sponsor probably. See, used as crystal ball questions. Exactly. We get them a lot. I started doing this live show in like March of 2020, and I was doing it every day, but it turned out like I was spending an hour of my life because I had 2 shows in the morning and at night. And I spent pretty much like 45 minutes of my life saying, I don't know timelines. And then it happened so much that I had to cut the show to once a week because I just have to show as me just saying, I can't answer timeline questions. So, and then eventually I get frustrated or don't explain it right and I sound offensive. So I love it when you guys have good, like meaty questions, actual questions I can answer. Timelines, no one knows what's going on with these timelines. Unfortunately, that's true. I wish it wasn't the case, but that's the way it is. And Nada name says my spouse was a green card when he applied to I-130, I-485. The I-130 got approved. Then he became a citizen. I called US and informed them. What else should I do? We just got to keep them posted, really. Ali says, hey there, which visa is faster, K1 or spouse visa? I have a long detailed visa of what this means. So when you say it's faster, what do you mean? If you say K1 or spouse visa, maybe the K1's a little faster, but do you mean to get a green card? I don't know. And then it depends on what country you're from as well. So there's a lot going on. There are a lot of videos on YouTube that discuss the difference in timeline, especially whether it's even worth it to be faster. So if the fiance K1 visa was, let's say, like 4 weeks faster or 6 weeks, is it worth spending extra $5,000? Maybe, maybe not. Is it worth coming to the United States and not having a work visa? I mean, a work permit for 3, 6, 9 months. So that's why you have the consultation, because like people think about speed and cost, but there's all these other factors, what speed means, what costs actually are. So and you have an Iran case, that's going to be a mess right there, unfortunately. So speed may come into, I talk about this, but if you're an Iranian case, you can start, you're a citizen, you can start the fiance visa right now, as long as you've seen each other once the last 2 years. But if you need to get married, you might need to file there, get married, and all this kind of stuff to cause delays. The worry is this: the first part of the process for fiance visa actually takes longer than a marriage case. And actually, fiance visa and marriage visa in practice have no time difference. But the reality is you got to get things rolling fast as possible in case President Trump comes back in and does a travel ban for Iran. You got to probably a year's time. Going to get married may take too long, so fiance visa may be better in that case. But then again, fiance visa takes a little longer to process right now, so it might not be any different. So you got to kind of make these decisions. It's a personal decision too, whether some families say, no, we don't want you to get married and wait 2 years for Iranian case could take 4 years, frankly, to come here. Why don't you get married once you're here? So there's just too much to go on to answer that question properly that suits you and your family. Med says, okay, Fernando says here, Fernando again, what if he sends a letter explaining he doesn't have the way? No, you have to make enough money. That's just the way it is. Man, says to the citizenship. I don't remember you, man. I'm not sure, man. Your question is a piece not making sense enough, so it's probably better schedule private consultation. Steve says spouse fees will always be better, but there are nuances. But a solid spouse case always wins. Yeah, that's 99 out of 100 times I'd go to spouse case, but very rarely the same. John Masters, John is my real name. John is my real name. Do you think we might get caught in limbo on the marriage visa if Trump is elected? If your spouse is from Iran, yeah, or like the travel ban countries, I'm deeply, deeply worried that there's going to be an immediate travel ban. And then those people stuck in the embassy system are just going to get stuck. So that's a real situation. But if you're getting married to a French person or something like that, or a Japanese person, John Masters, we might have talked before. I'm sorry if I don't recall, but yeah, so you got to keep in mind, if you're coming from one of the countries that are on the travel ban or maybe on the travel ban, you got to keep an eye out. And then we have other countries like Nigeria was on the travel ban, it stopped, but it's still backed up 2 years. Nothing's moving there. Pakistan's getting better, but that might slow down as well, even though I don't think Pakistan was on the travel ban. So the constant processing route doesn't look good. It just, the election could be a real doozy. No one can read Trump's minor plans. Yeah, but based on previous actions and, there's a lot of things people are overblowing about what Trump's going to do. But one thing you could say, his head of immigration, that something Miller, he said what he wants to do. And last time he wasn't joking around. He was really efficient and very competent on what he did. Everyone in the Trump administration seemed completely incompetent by the end of it, from all the people who are leaving and the thing they were saying. But the immigration wing of it was like masterful. They were planning this for years. It seems like those professionals at it. So that's that. Thai. Thai isn't that good, John Masters, but like it's better than the rest. Thailand, sometimes they hassle you and stuff. Daniel says Jamaica. We have a lot of Jamaican clients. Thank you for coming on the show and watching. LinkedIn user says, do DACA recipients, if they're married to U.S. citizens, are they eligible for family petition or they're eligible to potentially get a green card if you're married to U.S. citizen, but you need to have entry portion needs to be good. And, the rest of it, no criminal history, the relationship is real, all that kind of stuff. For DACA people, a lot of times if they travel on advanced parole, special permission to leave the U.S. and re-enter because they need to visit a sick relative or some work or school kind of thing, that satisfies the lawful entry requirement. However, not everyone's a good candidate for advanced parole travel. I mean, most people are, but we got to check it out. So we just have the name LinkedIn user here, but definitely schedule a private consultation to do it right. We do those kind of DACA adjustment cases all the time. C user says, is the Russian-speaking lawyer coming here on live at some point, Attorney Khosravi? Probably not alive. I just take care of this. But my senior associate, Attorney Anya Sergeyeva, she speaks Russian as well. She's busy with all the cases we're getting. So, but I'd love to have her on board. We used to do a regular show, I think, last year, but we just got overwhelmed with cases. And now we're instituting new software to help us manage all the people contacting us constantly and be able to answer properly. So hopefully in summertime, it'll open up again. But right now we're just like, we're reaching our bandwidth, how much caseload we can handle. So she's busy working on cases, but probably by the summertime, we'll have more systems, more staff members, and to be able to kick it up and have the time for her to come on video. LinkedIn user says, how long or what is the wait time for DACA recipient to do family petition? Well, you got to get advanced parole if you don't have that. Let's say you have a lawful admission. Right now, last one I got approved in like 4 months, but I have another one just got approved after a year and a half. So I have one of them, like this month, February, I had one DACA adjustment approved that's been pending for a year and a half. Of that year and a half, probably 9 months of it was after he submitted the medical checkup. So they had everything. It just took forever for you to get approved for some weird reason. And then another one got approved in like 3.5, 4 months. So it varies all over the place. But we got to make sure things are right. Steve just says, what can you say about a tourist visa holder getting married before 60 days up, but goes back to home country if they constantly have issues? It could be a problematic. The only example, or if the spouse comes back again later time to adjusting the issues. Well, if they catch you at the airport thinking you're intending to adjust, that could be problematic. You come as a tourist visa holder. I had one example that a friend, a colleague, had denied at the embassy for fraud because the person had said they had applied for a tourist visa. This is India, and said, we're going to go see my brother's graduation. That the woman came for brother's graduation, got married the next day, and then came back to India. And you would have thought that's perfectly fine. Everything's normal. But because she left, they didn't get married to stay here. There's no intent to stay here. There's no fraud there. But they got denied later on, like after a year or two, at the embassy, because they said, hey, when you did the tourist visa interview, you told us you're going to brother's graduation, but you're lying. You went to go see your spouse. Now that's to get married, and I think it's unfair because the person left. As you know, sometimes people get married on. It's just hard to get married in foreign countries. They can't travel. You just make a decision to get married if you're going to get married already. So I've heard that stuff happen, but traditionally it's all good. But it's possible. LinkedIn user says, how complicated are asylum cases, refugee cases in USA? I don't handle asylum. Our firm doesn't handle asylum cases, so I wouldn't want to answer on that one. Fernanda says, can my husband send his business tax income? No, it has to be personal tax income only. The business is the business. That's not you. The business can't make the guarantee. Okay, let's go back on Instagram. Sorry, if you're all on TikTok, and there's a lot of questions here. Best place is you go to our Instagram page, JQK Law, or our YouTube page, JQK Law, also known as Immigration Talk, and ask questions there because TikTok is just really hard to keep track of those questions, even though you have great questions there. Nadia, okay, we answered that. Shri says, my company told me they'll file for my H-1B, but till now they didn't get any documents from me. You don't really need that much documents from you. The registration process has to happen pretty soon. And for that, they just need very basic info. If you're chosen, they need more. Now, at our firm, we try to collect more information than other firms so we know the case better. But if a lot of times, a lot of firms that do H-1B, they're doing 1,000 of these. They don't have time to analyze every single applicant, especially if they're not going to get chosen in the registration. But we're a small operation and like to have like individual touch and really get to know people and catch stuff ahead of time. So it's just, it is. It costs more money to be like that. So it's cheaper for them not to check you out until it's too late. But, it is what it is. Trucking Chef says, what happens if when you came to America with the visitor visa, you get married, have green card, then kind of find out someone has your kid back at home? Can you file for the kid? I don't know how you just find out you have a kid, if there's a valid reason, but then again, you listed as the father there to show it's a child. Are you like supporting the kid to show his relationship? You have to analyze whether they'll accept the parent-child relationship or not. So that needs more analysis. Batio says, have you moved in the last 3 months that apply only for just state or national travel as well? Your question, I'm not sure what's going on. Have you moved in the last 3 months? For citizenship, you have to have lived in the jurisdiction, the state you're living in, but I'm not sure what you're going for. ID 6091 says, how long after fingerprints is the work permit? I think there's no correlation at all for timelines regarding getting EAD, fingerprints, or whatever it is. Each of them are their own thing. Okay, you're welcome, C user. Okay, finally, let's go to TikTok. Sure, I have a question. My green card since 10 years, but never stayed in the U.S. straight up at the 5 years, but now I am. I think you're talking about citizenship. The question isn't clear, but you got to schedule private consults. We look into it. Hi, can K1 visa holder apply for E2 visa without leaving the U.S.? If you're a K1 visa holder, no, you can only stay in the U.S. based on asylum or marriage. You got to leave and come back in. You can't do. I'm pretty sure you can't do change of status on K1 E2. I can't remember exactly because no one ever does that. You just get married or divorced. But I don't think you can. I think K1's limited. But you have to adjust. That's for adjustment of status. It has to be the K1 holder, not the other way. So I'm not positive just because no one goes from a fiancé visa to E2. Maybe it's in the history of worlds happened. That's something I have to look into because it just never comes up. LinkedIn user says, for dual nationals, United States and Mexican, if I travel to Mexico with my Mexican passport and return to the U.S. with my American passport, will I have trouble or detain? No, that's normal. You could do that if you want. I mean, that's not a big deal. C user says, if a tourist visa holder comes out of status after 6 months or 1 year or more, will they still be able to adjust through employment-based green card or do consular processing? Do you have any hope? No, if you're out of status for more than 180 days and you do a employment-based, they're going to deny you. You got to do consular processing. However, you might be subject to a 3 or 10-year ban. So in this situation, you got to be very careful and choose wisely, like what's going to happen. We're answering questions actually for those coming in on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok. We have like 6, 7 social media platforms all happening at once. For TikTok users, because there's just so many questions, repeat questions, if you go to our YouTube page or Instagram or anywhere else, frankly, for JK Laws Live, you're going to have more likelihood of getting questions answered. And I don't answer questions about timelines, so just don't ask that. Should I file writ of mandamus after waiting? That's up to you. When can we file for citizenship, a temporary green card? I don't know. A temporary green card, you think be conditional. If you've been married and living with a citizen for 3 years, you could file a 3-year mark or 9 days before that if you satisfy all the other requirements. It says in USA, living the last 3 years straight, can I apply for citizenship? I got family based 10 years ago. If you have a gap, if you weren't living here for those 2 years before the 3 years, you might have issues. You got to look at the case. Can I go guest? I'm not sure what that means. Jasper says, my parents are permanent green card holders. They overstayed outside the country for almost 4. They should contact attorney private. I'm a DACA recipient waiting on my adjustment status app approval. Can I travel to Puerto Rico or vacation? Technically, you can travel to Puerto Rico because it's part of America. The plane might have an emergency landing in some other country. They might make a mistake. So all these things are possible. We can't guarantee it. But traditionally, it's not a problem. But I mean, I'll probably wait longer. I'm DACA recipient. Okay, I answered that. I have 240C on my old file. That's not good. That's marriage fraud because my first marriage denied. Now I think you can't even get VAWA if you have marriage thing, but I'm not sure. I don't handle the VAWAs in my office, but that might be a problem. Mehmet says, I-130 approved, I-131 denied because I-485 denied, but my I-485 denied. What should I do? Contact USCI and see what's going on. Is it recommended to submit the medical exam with the initial petition or better to wait? It depends on your circumstances and what the issue is. Nowadays, it's better sending with it, but it depends on what kind of case you have. If you have a case that's going to take 7 years to get done, or let's say 3 years to get done, there's no point in sending a medical now because it's going to expire. So it depends on the facts of the case. If you have certain medical conditions that's problematic, that could be a reason you want to do it sooner or later. So that's that. Can I travel on a 2-year green card? Generally, a person can travel with their green card for 2 or 10 years. If you have other issues, that might be problematic. Multilingual shopper says, should I file a writ of mandamus to answer that question? Do you have to have a medical exam for military PIP? No. Is it okay to go on a cruise with a combo car? And what documents I need to take with me? I don't know your case. I can't go into tell you what documents you need to take. Faye says, can we waive visitation of Philippines due to physical chronic condition for I-130? Waive visitation of Philippines. You don't need, if you're a petitioner, you don't need to go travel. So I'm not sure what's going on, Fadi. Is it okay to answer this question? How long? Okay, can we visit? Okay, I'm going through all these repeats. Why is my mom denied? How long is it going to take again? I mean, let's just take it as a not serious question. I don't know. What do you want me to tell you? I don't know why your mom was denied. Okay, so this is why, TikTok, a lot of questions. Some of them are just out there. And I'm sorry they got denied, but I mean, what am I going to do if you say a line like that? The traveling is it okay to go on a cruise? Okay, we answered this stuff too much. Okay, so I'm gonna go on some other platforms. The same one. Okay. On Instagram, Nicole says, "Do you recommend to submit?" Oh, yeah, that's a question of the place. It depends on your case, what you want to do. As I said, what's the cost associated with adjustment status of J1 to tourist visa? So adjustment status means a green card from J1 to tourist visa. That's change of status. What's the cost associated with it? Well, you have an I-539 for you. I'm not sure if you have dependents or not, but you got to pay the change of status fees. Let's see how long. We don't answer timeline questions. Have you moved in the last 3 months that apply on your state? I mean, Tawhid, you're answering this on multiple platforms. I recommend just answering the question better so I could get what it is. I've seen the question multiple places already. Is it easy to apply for naturalization online? Depends on what you mean on easy. So I sometimes have a hard time getting people to write their name down. So, it's something you could do. Attorney, how long is the process I-212 case? A year, 6 months, 2 years. Can I file for a K1 visa with my U.S. passport, or do I need a citizenship certificate? Yeah, you could do it with your passport. Ideally, you want to have your certificate of citizenship, but it's possible. Now, you want to double check to make sure you got your citizenship properly, but that's possible. Go anywhere with your. Yeah, one thing is there's people answering people's questions. I don't recommend listening to that because there's always nuances to this, so you can't take someone's word. They're not my representation. Ali says, thank you so much. I appreciate your super kind, helpful. God bless you, Ali. Thank you so much. If you had time for everyone watching, if you like the answers, please go to Google, type in my law firm, JQK Law, and just put 5 stars there. Helps out a lot, but I appreciate it, Ali. I am Sharmaz says, my dad is waiting for a visa clearance for 11 months. You recommend filing a writ of mandamus immigrant visa? I don't have a recommendation, but I recommend looking into filing the lawsuit. But I don't have a recommendation you would do it because, first of all, I don't handle lawsuits and I don't know enough about your case. Sometimes you don't want to file a lawsuit because they'll just find some problem that exists and make it bigger. But if you got a clean case, it's definitely something you need to look into because it's just out of control. Thank you, Ali. God bless you. I appreciate that. Hodge says, IJ approved adjustment of status. Okay, I don't know how long. I can't answer questions about timelines. Let's see. Can a minor petition for their parents if they're deported if the minor disability? No, unfortunately, if be 21. Neil says, please, they just asked you for RFE for medicals. My marriage case, what's next, please? You respond to the RFE and you wait. You're welcome. I am my Sharmaz, I think. I'm sorry. How long does it take when you want to become a resident by marriage and spouse as DACA? I mean, you got to get advanced parole approved, and then if that's approved, then depends on the government. It could take anywhere from a year to 3 years. Can I apply for advanced parole for my husband that lives abroad because of financial hardship? It's not advanced parole. You can file for humanitarian parole. Likelihood of approval is very low, but you could always give it a shot. 15 years age difference created a problem marriage based. I haven't had problems age differences as long as the rest of the file looks good. If we overstay the visa, but we pay taxes in 3 years, can we do something? No, taxes has nothing to do with immigration. Very, very small amount to do with immigration. Can a spousal visa be denied? Yeah, anything can be denied. Can I apply for advanced parole or answer that question? I have a pending I-90. Can I file for M-400? If you satisfy M-400 requirements, yes, you don't have to renew the I-90. My husband's visa has been denied. Yeah, sorry. How long did it get I-130 green card sponsor? It's going to take a long time, many years. Rowan says, can a child on green card live more than 6 months out of the United States without re-entry? They see what the parents are doing and based on that, so it could be problematic. Then we have something in Arabic, which I could read it, but I don't understand Arabic. If I have a pending, we are answer that question. Let's go back to YouTube and the other ones. We got some questions there probably. Mehmet says, USI says your case is awaiting review. I haven't read the case. I haven't read the 901. It says maybe get the ombudsman's office involved, maybe USI's community service liaison, maybe you get congressperson or senator involved. This is like when these kind of things happen. And just to give you an example, for those just tuning in, this gentleman filed for a marriage green card or just a family green card case, and they mistakenly denied his advanced parole, saying his green card case was denied when it wasn't. So these are the kind of problems that happen typically. People think like, oh, it's immigration, just paperwork we submitted, smooth. Why do you need a lawyer? This kind of mess up happens all the time. It's not even your fault. But when you come to fix it, that's where the problem happens, because to get a lawyer to come take the case, I usually don't like taking cases where someone else started without me because I don't know what they said in there. Then I'm on the hook if I sign up. But speed is very important. So when they make these mistakes, try and get to them as fast as possible. At least make a note of it. I mean, it's not the worst to have an I-131 denied unless you have travel need, but these kind of stuff happen. It's a very inconsistent system, and so that's it. Sacros Law says, visa T question, are there possible reasons why they would deny adjustment of status? I have a T for 3 years. There's always possible reasons. I don't know. Can someone who travel advanced pro still apply for a T visa? They're semi-unrelated. It depends on the whole picture. It's not something I could talk about here. To say someone, there's always exceptions. So like I don't know until I sit and talk with you about it. C user follows up. What happens to airline or cruise employees who enter the country and does not get out? Do they have any relief? I mean, not really. When airline and cruise employees usually come in on C or D visas, and those kind of visas, you're not allowed to adjust status. I'm not sure if you're allowed to change status or not. I can't remember, but the typical issue comes up under INA, Immigration Nationality Act, Section 245C. There's a part that says people come in on these kind of visas, like flight crew and stuff. They're not allowed to adjust status unless they got asylum or something. So it's not impossible relief if they're victims of crime or trafficking or different things. It may be possible, but it's problematic when you have those kind of visas. It's something you got to look into. Now, Wall says, I'm a green card holder. I want my parents to come visit me. Was the correct process? And now, sponsoring parents to fly for tourist visas. They may get approved, they may not. Caesar says, what is a reasonable amount of time working for the green card sponsor for leaving them? Some lawyers say a year. Some say 6 months. I look at the whole picture. You're not a slave. I don't want you to be stuck with someplace. Like if we have Indian people, that's an important question, who have worked for like a big tech company for 10 years or 15 years even, and the tech company is paid the least amount possible. Really, that's why these immigration programs are slavery is a strong term, but like it's up there as like an abuse system. So they pay them nothing for many years. And then, yeah, of course, when a person gets a green card for 10 or 15 years working for scraps, when they could be made 3 or 4 times as much, they're going to leave. So, if they've been here and the job was real and they just got frustrated because they got a better job offer, I don't really tell my clients to hold back. But if you just came in and you the next day you quit, they're going to be skeptical. Now, I had one client when I first started. I mean, I wasn't the head lawyer on the case, but this guy came in, got the work visa, got the green card, that is. And the first day on the job, he got into a big fight with the employer and quit. And that's that. And so at the citizenship time, they asked about it. And, the guy, his demeanor was so abrasive and you look like he was a guy who's going to fight all the time. It's just from his face. He was always frustrated. And so we went to the interview. He explained that he got in a fight, and just looking at the guy, and the officer looked at him, was like, yeah, this seems like a guy who's just going to fight people. Like, it wasn't a fist fight, but just arguing a bad attitude. It's like, well, it kind of makes sense that this guy would get fired or quit, whatever it is, the first day. So it depends, it depends. I hate people being stuck in a job for longer than they need to. You're welcome, Sakuraslava. Lee says, USCIS closed my case for I-765 for we send more evidence, which was my previous expired work permit. I don't know. I don't know what's going on. Always user says, always in Florida. Thanks, attorney. Wow, asylum. So they do have some tools. Yeah, it's not impossible, but it's harder. John Masters, for a marriage visa, does it matter where we are married? If you are doing a K3 visa, the location of marriage is where your interview has to happen. But not per se, as long as you satisfy the requirements. The problem, John Masters, with getting married overseas is most places require so much time. Like some places say you got to be there for 30 days before you get married. Some say that you need a single certificate from the United States, which the U.S. doesn't offer that. So you got to get this other nonsense document. The costs are much more. You get ripped off. So typically, it's worked, but who knows if it works in the future. By doing these online marriages in the U.S., like Montana, Utah, do these. They've worked. We've had case approvals, but my team I talk about are always hesitant because if a new administration comes and just says, no, we don't accept these anymore, even though they should, it's legal, we don't know what's going to happen. So that's something we kind of plan out, strategize. And our consultation says you're not just about the law. It's like, how do we make your life easier and accommodate you? Because you got work, you got life, things cost money. You might want your family there. We have to take all this, the human element into consideration as well. It's not just the law. We try to adjust the law to your lifestyle so you can live a good life, as opposed to forcing you to adjust yourself to fit the boxes that they want you to. That's the way we go about it. Fernanda says, does the IRS investigate you after you send a letter explaining why you don't have the wage income tax? That's a tax question. If you IRS investigation, we don't handle IRS related work. Nadia says, hi, John. I submitted an RFE for medical last year, August. It probably means you'll be waived, but these are taking forever to get. CU says, interesting case, fired is a different case, though, attorney. So, yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not sure if they got quit right there, if you got fired, but that's just these facts. The main thing is people leaving their job soon after getting the green card. That's some lawyers really scared. They work a year, but I think a year is too much. But, it's up to you because someday at citizenship time, the officer is going to make up their own mind. Fernando says, can I be my own sponsor with my assets? Maybe, Fernanda, but I have to sit and analyze that. There's a lot more information I have to know, but it's not impossible. All right, let's go to TikTok. Wife is a U.S. citizen. No point of entry. Been in the U.S. 23 years. What's my opinion? You want guidance? No, if you didn't enter lawfully, you're gonna have problems. So we got to see what's going on. You got to get a waiver, probably, Anthony, and 601A waiver, and we got to look to see what country you're from, see how much of a hassle they're gonna give you, how long it's gonna take for all these different kind of things. But you may be able to get it, but you need a waiver most likely. But schedule office consultation time with the office so we can see what's going on in more detail. Mr. Alo says, "Hey sir, I applied for adjustment of status refugee. I just get one update that you says ready have already taken. I mean, I don't have anything to say about that." Alo says they denied my visa because the consul said you're married was before your wife divorced. What can I do? You got to fix that situation. I'm talking with family lawyers and see what the situation is. John Master says, thanks, John. Goodbye. Bye to you as well. Thanks for coming. Leave a review, 5-star review. But yeah, that's a major issue. If you didn't finalize your divorce and you got married again, that's bigamy. It's problematic. It might even be criminal in some states and countries. So you gotta sit and talk with family lawyers and immigration lawyers. It's a complex situation. Hi says, what additional documents can one attach for naturalization? It depends on what needs your case has. C user says, if you're a TN visa holder planning to get a green card through employment, what is the workaround for dual intent? H-1B? Yeah, if you get H-1B is best, or just stay in the United States and then file for the green card, if you decide after extending or entering, if you decide to change to that. I can't say come in with the intent to do that, but if you're here already, or if you recently done change of status, that'll give you some buffer time. Now, Wall says, follow-up question, if a sponsor for my parents visit visa, do I have to? There's no sponsorship now. It's just they file for their own visa. Biometrics has been 5 months, no update. That's it. I don't know. User 9 says, can I file? Oh, it's been 30 minutes. That was pretty fast. We got a lot of good questions today. It made it just time fly. I'll take one Instagram question, another TikTok or two, and we'll call it a day. HCBB says, what if you work past your OPT by 2 months and now trying to get the K1 visa? That per se doesn't matter unless you filed you claim to be a citizen to get that job or use a fake ID, or secondly, on subsequent applications you lied and didn't mention that comes misrepresentation potentially. But those are the things. But HBC, download my guide, the Ultimate Marriage Green Card Guide at marriageimmigrationlaw.com. Then schedule a consult or intake session with our office. We are testing out this new system where we give one of our non-lawyer team members, we'll have a conversation for a free intake session for marriage cases. He'll get the basic information so then we can send a report about estimates and our thoughts. It's not legal guidance, but it just gives you an idea because we do charge consultation fees. So a lot of people want to know certain things and they're worried about it. So I'm like, okay, the price and process, if we could give a general range, we'll give it. But what the consultation really about is for me is like, safety and security in your case to get you to the end. So the price and process are really important for customers, but like obviously for any human being, but there's more to it. Our consultation is not like a gimmick to try to take money from you. It's to spend time to try to spot any issues that exist so we could properly guide you through the path. And at the end of the day, and this is why AI is not going to, there's always going to be a room for an immigration lawyer because AI could bring the cost down. These self-filing stuff online could do it. But for people who they got the money and want to have a good, situation, you got to sit and talk with the person and just get information out during a good conversation. And that requires years of experience to be able to pull the information out and what to ask for. And so you're not going to be able to do that when you go to AI because you don't even know what questions to ask. And the AI, it doesn't, it can't feel as a human being. Maybe it can in the future, but to pick out and notice things on your the way you're acting or the relationship or your documents per se, it's not there yet. And probably that'll be one of the last things to go. There are aspects of the case that AI could do, but the main things that's going to be successful and watching issues, it's going to be a while for that happens. C users, thank you so much. You are always amazing. I'll leave a 5-star review. God bless you, C user. Totally worth it. Attorney cares and it's really lawyer no stern return. Thank you, C. I really appreciate it. God bless you for the kind terms. Thank you, everyone, for joining. Let me ask one question from TikTok. Who was the most last question? It says, if my 23 tax income isn't enough, can my income make up for it when the time for interview? No, you have to have the requisite income or assets at the time of filing. Potentially, if you have assets, you could make up for some of it. But that's that. Sugar says, I want there's a green card holder. Now I'm a citizen. What should I do? You should notify USCIS so you get into the IR case. I guess with that, if you want to schedule a private consultation, email the office, info@jqqlaw.com, or just visit the website. Go to our contact us page, jqqlaw.com. Nothing here was considered immigration advice or legal guidance. We got to talk in person about that, but I hope it helped get you a better idea of generally what's going on with the U.S. immigration system. Until next one, God bless, be safe. I'll see you next Tuesday, 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern.